Nearly this entire last episode of Monday Night Raw was devoted to building up to the Nexus versus Team Raw match at SummerSlam, the 7-on-7, which is now an elimination style match. A lot of people were speculating, me even being one of those people, whether WWE was going to continue this Nexus storyline all the way until Survivor Series, but hell, they didn't need to, I guess, because they just booked an elimination style match on whatever show they wanted to, and I guess SummerSlam was that destination. So tonight we had Nexus in a match versus the Raw B team, as they were being called. It featured people like Evan Bourne, Mark Henry, Yoshi, Tatsu, Hart Dynasty, Goldust, Jerry the King, Lawler. Just a very interesting bunch of people just thrown onto one team, and they were completely annihilated by Nexus. Basically, this match just showcased, they just let Nexus show off their finishers. They eliminated each and every one of the Raw members, and none of the Nexus members were eliminated during this match. Now, I didn't like the match myself, but I realized what the purpose of the match was. It wasn't to, the simple purpose was to make Nexus seem like a legitimate threat, to make them seem dangerous, to make them seem strong. And all throughout the night, they were, touching on the vulnerabilities of Raw's A team, featuring people like Bret Hart, Edge, Chris Jericho, R-Truth, John Morrison, Great Khali, and John Cena. Now, Bret Hart wasn't there tonight, but they developed rifts between Edge and Great Khali, developed rifts between John Morrison and R-Truth, and also Chris Jericho and Edge, and that all came to a head at the end of the night. They had all of those 6 guys in the ring, pushing each other, going back and forth, arguing, and it just seemed like a big-ass dysfunctional family. And I see the position that WWE is in right now. It's kind of like a peculiar position, because what they're trying to do, like I said, paint Nexus as a legitimate threat, make them seem strong, but also make the other team seem vulnerable and weak. And that's kind of hard to do, seeing as the team that you're trying to make seem strong and dangerous is full of rookies, and the team that you're trying to make seem weak, it's like full of former world champions. Like, they have 5 former world champions on Raw's team, so it's kind of like a touchy situation. But I think they're doing pretty good on it right now. It still needs a little bit of work to get that accomplished goal, but yeah, I can see they are doing work on it. I guess next week we're going to probably have Bret Hart reappear, give them like a pep talk, tell them they need to come together or something like that. And one thing that I loved about this show, at the beginning of the show, you had John Cena come out there. He was delivering a good promo, but then he went out there with the jokes and stuff and completely ruined it. But then Chris Jericho, he came out there like, look, I do realize I'm on a team with you, but don't get it twisted. We aren't friends, and after we get done with Nexus, I'm going to take you out. I really think that needed to be said, because a lot of people were like, oh, is Chris Jericho going to turn face? Oh, Chris Jericho's a face now. Look, all that's going on with people like Chris Jericho and Edge, they have a common enemy in Nexus. Last week, Nexus attacked Chris Jericho. They attacked Edge, so they want revenge on Nexus. Then when they get rid of that threat, they're going to go back to hating each other. That's pretty simple. Although I must say, I did kind of get excited about R-Truth and John Morrison with their rift, because I was thinking John Morrison was going to turn heel. See, I'm like criticizing other people for thinking that, and I'm thinking the same damn thing. But yeah, I just wanted John Morrison to heel turn like really bad. I think that would add a lot of edge to his character and get some momentum behind him, and hopefully he can get I think his rightful place in the main event scene in WWE. But yeah, on to another thing that was really built up during this last episode of Raw. The Miz with another aborted cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. He was about to cash it in on Sheamus. He gave it to the referee, but then Randy Orton comes in and he RKO's the Miz. So no dice once again. I'm not expecting the Miz to cash in this Money in the Bank for a while, because WWE has already set the foundation for him to keep that briefcase for a very long time. I know a lot of people get real antsy and they get impatient when people have the Money in the Bank briefcases. They want to cash them in so quickly, but we have to look at the position that we're in. There were 3 Money in the Bank matches this year. The 2 that already were cashed in, Jack Swagger, when he cashed his in, it was the fastest ever at that point. Then when Kane cashed his in, now that set the standard for the fastest Money in the Bank cash in. So I'm not too giddy about the Miz cashing it in anytime soon. I'm loving that WWE is letting him build up his character, letting him mix it up with people like Chris Jericho, John Cena, Sheamus, and the promo, the segment that they had together, Sheamus and the Miz. I really did like that segment. That was the highlight, one of the highlights of the night for me. So yeah, WWE, I think they're doing good with the Miz right now. I don't think he's going to cash it in anytime soon, but they have to stop with these aborted cash-ins. I think that's going to get old pretty quick. Last week, it was a very, like, unpredictable moment, and it was so great. Then this week, it was like a lesser impact, because, like I said, we just saw a similar thing last week, but they can't do this each and every week. They absolutely can't, because it's going to get like the whole GM thing. Like, in the beginning, it was important, but then when it starts happening, you're like, is it happening again? So yeah, speaking of that GM thing, have y'all noticed that it's completely like dropped off? Nobody really even cares about it anymore. And the GM, they used to chime in throughout like the entire show. Now they only like chime in like once or twice. And then sometimes they have Michael Cole like relaying messages without even going up to the podium. Like, he just announces it when he's like talking to the camera while he's still at the announcer's table. So I think they just need to name a GM and get this whole thing over with, because it's like old and lame at this point. So make sure you guys give me your thoughts down in the comment section below. I am Jaydub. I'll have some more videos coming for you guys later on in the week, and also the sideshow this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time on JaydubShow.com. Hopefully you join me over there. For now, peace out.